to issuing the clearance letter and the reasons for it. And we may withhold approval or direct some recommendations to be done, before issuing the clearance. Because there are particular institutions that when they come and we have an interactive session, sometimes we don't need to invite, like, defend the project, but based on the interaction, they realize that project is not worth, going into, and they go back and submit a different thing that makes more sense, right? So if we refuse to issue a clearance, we will specify the reasons for the refusal and give advice on how to go and make it better. Any breach of this guideline is a criminal offense under Section 17 and 18 of the National Information Technology Development Agency Act of 2007. So this is the end of the presentation. Yeah, will just give me 2 minutes. There is an amended guideline that is already in circulation. It's on our website for review. So this is the right time for you to go to our website. If you've got any comments regarding the amended IT project clearance guideline, you can share with us. Before we mention something about collaborative development of policy, inclusive development of policy, and that is what we are trying to do, right? And in this guideline, we are proposing to co-issue it with BPP and the Office of the Auditor General for further checks. And we are also introducing the compliance assurance funds that will support agencies or institutions in submitting their IT project during the design where they are unable to do so, and sharing knowledge and so on and so forth. You'll see all the details in the amended guidelines, and part of it is also in this presentation which the company has, but most the full details are on our website, www.ninja.gov.ng. And when you are done, information on what you think we should do or add to our amended guidelines, ITPC and ninja.gov.ng. Thank you very much. Except if you've got any questions.
I know there will be questions. Thank you, Dr. Dahiru. Please, we want to. Okay, first off, let me use the privilege that I have to request Dr. Dahiru that you give special amnesty to some of us that have not been complying. This is some form of admission. Do I speak the mind of some people here? There might have special challenges institutions. So please just write it somewhere. And company is going to come on behalf of our institutions for some of that. Ladies and gentlemen, because of time, we are we're taking the plenary sessions immediately one after the other. The first plenary session we had, that was led by Dr. Lidoko, and also now with Dr. Dahiru. Professor Lidoko. Yes, and now Dr. Dahiru. Now we will also quickly, if you don't mind, take the second plenary. But I want to appeal, because people have been sending us messages that they have questions. Please write down your questions so that you don't forget. We're going to create time for the questions. The second thing we want to announce is that please, we have to shift our lunch by about 30 minutes, please. Lunch was supposed to be 1 p.m. We shift it to accommodate the second session and the questions. So without wasting time, representative of coordinator of special projects, you have 15 minutes. The time is 12:56.
slide please come on. While the slide is coming up, good afternoon everybody. Bring greetings from the National Investors Commission, NUC. Earlier, the Director of Research, Innovation and IT was here, right in person, and he brought greetings from our peers. So that means I'm covered. I also bring greetings from my other colleagues, NUC Central Education, DD, ICT, Mr. Anthony, and the other colleagues, bring greetings. My other colleague, Mr. Toby Fora, is also in the Higher Education, NUC, bring our greetings. Okay, thank you. Also, part of the invited guests, one of my other organs who happen to be a key think tank of the NGRED project, Dr. Shafi, the ICT of Lagos. I also greet you, sir. Now, the civil servant, you have to be told that work will be smooth. All right, let's go to what we have for today. We're looking at ICT development, the role of research and education networks, to be presented by Dr. Joshua Atam, who is unavoidably absent, prepared an academic, a conference paper. I don't know if your conference proceedings, do you publish them? Okay, so we have a document, not a conference paper, but for the sake of presentation, this is the PowerPoint slide. Okay, so this is what we're going to be looking at. Our agenda, looking at introducing what a REN is. Already, my work was already signified by the unit. Professor Kanko talked about RENs. So we'll be looking at that more deeply. We look at it from the global perspective, and of course, we look at it from Nigeria's perspective, since Nigeria happens to have a REN. Look at what REN is doing in the ICT landscape, look at the challenges, we look at recommendations. Okay, so the REN is a research and education network. And when the country operates a REN, it's now called an NREN. So a national REN is a specialized network that dedicates to supporting the needs of research and education communities within the country. Professor Tanka has already explained what a REN does. It's a specialized ISP. It provides connectivity, like I said, it's a backbone. It provides that connectivity. It allows the participating institutions, just like they were having games in China, and WhatsApp was restricted. But the universities under that community were able to access it. So only if you are in that environment, you'll be able to use the services that the REN provides. So it's a specialized ISP. It's this broadband internet, and it supports research projects. It, of course, it connects RENs with one another, and also with commodity internet. So our topic was about ICT infrastructure, which is in line with the theme of this year's conference, digital transformation. So digital transformation, you need your ICT infrastructure to be transformed. So our ICT infrastructure, we're looking at your hardware, software, we're looking at all that pertains to your network. In regards to REN, said REN connects you to the internet as well as global partners. And of course, REN leads to development. It's a catalyst for development. With REN, you are able to collaborate, you are able to share library resources with one another, like the first speaker who spoke. If a university has access to a database, why not share with other universities? So that's what the collaborative aspect. And most importantly, we're talking about financing. economies of skills. When we come together as a consortium, a group of universities, we're able to get better deals. Governance. Institutions established not for profits. The REN can be established either through in the room here we have ICT directors. These are the bodies where REN develop from. But also there's also top-down directive where government comes and steps in to help. And there's also a hybrid version of that. So common features of the REN gives high-speed connectivity, shared services, cost efficiency, open science and infrastructure. This is where the world is going into. Research collaboration, enhancing research collaboration, capacity building, and enabling regional and development. That is the SDG goals. RENs are now encouraged to support SDG goals. So this makes it attractive, especially when you're looking for global funding. RENs are scattered all over the world. Here we have our own REN. Ghana has a REN. And between NG REN, Garnet, and the most recent one in Gambia, they are all covered by the regional REN. The regional RRN. For West Africa, it is called RRN. In America, you also have it's all over there around the whole world. So the reason why we were called to make this presentation is because we're talking about RENs globally. But Nigeria has a REN. So why not we be involved in this discussion? So we thought, why not use Nigeria as a case study of RENs? Nigeria has a REN called NGREN, also a member of WACREN, and is domiciled in the National University. So what is it about NGREN? How did we evolve? How did we get here? We had preliminary discussions far back as 2010. Study, visits, and designs were all done to ensure a blueprint. Documentations, can't escape policies. So when you are talking about policies, which we started in the conference, we have to ensure that you go through processes of registration. So all this was done. NGREN received support from the World Bank, which is also similar to GAMREN. GAMREN is the REN in Gambia. They have a very similar hybrid structure where governments, World Bank, and universities came together to establish the REN. So initially, the services was provided to 27 federal universities, as well as the NUC Secretariat and CVC Secretariat. This continued, as well as finally when the project was commissioned by the President in 8th of July 2014. So initially, this is the network diagram of the REN of the network at that time. This is all part of the evolution. So as it is now, this is a current diagram to serve its community better. NGREN, like I said, follows a hybrid structure of government as well as the university through the partnership between NUC and CVC. So that means the members of the universities are represented as well as government through the NUC. Strategic oversight is provided by NUC as well as representation from member universities. NGREN is currently sustained by subscription of paying universities. And since the initial intervention, NGREN has grown to connect about 45 universities, both federal, private, and state universities. Given the increasing number of institutions, the network was designed using this new diagram. So it is star. We'll talk about this. So we're talking about infrastructure. Connection to the NGREN is based on the HPC, which is a high performance computing system that is able to serve the entire Nigerian university system. That's a picture of it. There's a connection of lease line capacity of about 30 gigabytes, about 30 gigabytes as well. The services The service providers rather the ones we know about, as well as IXPN. And all this provides collaborative services, educational services, connectivity services, as well as research services. So this is the full stack of the infrastructure. So what about the infrastructure? Under the NGREN cloud, the infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and research infrastructure service. So under the infrastructure, some of them have already subscribed and they're already using, they have access to that virtual machines, virtual labs, ERPs, and all that. Services currently on the HPC, we have the module about the LMS, speaker talked about LMS earlier, certification portals, web hosting, domain name system, the M&E portal, which is a very key application. Many universities now are clamoring for M&E application. When you are managing huge projects, especially those foreign donor projects, they usually ask, where is your M&E architecture? So we have something like this running on the NGREN. And other services that aid research, MATLAB, DrillBit, an multiplexing software, of course, EBSCO hosts, ProQuest, and Science Direct. Federated services, now this is a key thing about an NREN. It's what differentiates it from the regular service ICT, ISP. Your federated services is a system where you have a unique login where, for example, as all the DICs are present here, you can log into services using your university's credential. No need to ask for Wi-Fi password and all. So some of the federated services are all under which we are calling the NIRIS, Nigerian Institutional Repository Identity System. So we're working on the federated repository as well as the EduRoam. We rolled out the EduRoam last year and with GIANT for better service optimization. Like I said earlier, the network is the star topology. Universities can receive up to 1 gigabyte of bandwidth. The network is domiciled here. I saw earlier that NC, National Data Protection Commission, was coming to speak. I know one of the things they normally say is that we want our data to be inside the country. So the NGREN is hosted in country at a tier 3 data center, which is ensuring 99% uptime. And we also ensure cybersecurity features such as firewalls and network monitoring tools as well. NGREN supports communities. We're talking of ICT development. We also support communities. There are several projects running in some of your universities. Some of your universities are present here, all under the topic of all other thematic areas: agriculture, STEM, procurement, environmental, social standards, as well as climate change. I can see Adewara nodding his head because his university too is among, that's OAU. So they are all represented, and NGREN looks for a way to support these communities by amplifying what these centers of excellence are doing. Challenges, yes, nothing new here. In fact, the opening speech of the chairman, he mentioned some of the challenges, and I was like, did he see our notes? So some of those challenges are unique and cuts across. So financial challenges, universities are struggling with subscription to internet access. There's also a misconception of what a REN is. And when we understand that a REN is different from the regular ISP, we begin to appreciate it more. So there should be no need of competition because your REN is a specialized network, and we need to also partner with the ISPs because some universities have challenges connecting their local, that's why we mentioned local campus coverage. If the campus is covered with good ICT infrastructure, we heard about ABU having the first university to connect with fiber optics. So that's also a challenge. ABU might be lucky, but not many other universities. And also last mile connectivity challenge, as well as power, rule out power. What are the recommendations? We're recommending to the universities, the polytechnics, colleges of education, which are the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. We need to invest in ICT infrastructure. We need to promote digital literacy, as well as collaborate. Again, collaborate, and that cannot be overemphasized. And for governments, we also need more funding. We need to expand last mile connectivity, as well as enable duty-free ICT imports. In conclusion, REDs are critical to modern research. The way modern research is going is that your universities must collaborate. In fact, when AUC comes for accreditation, we have this instrument called the PEF, the Program Evaluation Form. The standard 6.0 talks about research collaboration. Then they ask you, how are you collaborating with other universities? So imagine you already have a RED. It shows the collaboration. And the way research and education is going, your RED is like your visa. Because many universities, many REDs, they have all these services in their RED. And to access it, you need a single sign-on showing that you are coming from another RED or an education institute. So that's what the RED provides. It's a digital passport. Being members of RED prompts development in your institution, which we mentioned. The competitive advantage of the RED over the ISP is its ability to provide advanced services, which we also mentioned. NGRED is transforming Nigeria's academic landscape. Nigeria has 295 universities. Last week, 30th of April, NUC licensed 11 additional universities. So 295 universities, as well as the several polytechnic institutions, all need interconnectivity. When we collaborate together, we are able to have a better national development, national infrastructure. These are some of the references we used to work on the document, and I want to thank you for listening.
Very much. You actually kept time, so thank you. I'm sure one of the questions that the ICTs want to know is how to join this RED, which will be taken up during the Q&A session. We are on track for time. The speaker is Ahmed Chafe, who is Director of ICT for Usman for the University of Sokoto. Please, you have the floor. I'm sure you can do yours in 10 minutes. And just before he takes it, please put down your questions, please, because we don't want to lose any question from anybody. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Isa Chabe. I'm the Director of ICT at Usman University, Sokoto. So my presentation will really be talking to you directly as directors of ICT, from one director of ICT to others. Knowing where the real challenges are, tertiary institutions, and what some of us have done to address some of these challenges. I'm happy Professor Tanko, Foundation, Professor Walloy, followed with issues of policy and plans, and Director also Mida followed with compliance issues. Fortunately enough, I didn't talk about this. This was my slides. What's coming? So my presentation actually has to do with what we really need to do in our institutions to make sure that we form part of the global highway. It's not enough to have sophisticated services in our institutions, no matter how sophisticated they are. whether they are local in our institutions or they are on the cloud. If our stakeholders do not have a reliable network to be able to access them, it becomes a problem. So all of us are aware of the directive from the Honorable Minister of Education that we should all try and onboard put our staff and students on Blackboard planet. And we are also aware that it's funding about 11 services, including terrace. Blackboard, of course, is one of them. All these are there. And we are expected, the directors of ICT, to make sure that our over 2 million students and staff are onboarded. Eventually, we want to see all our courses made available on the Blackboard. But how do we do that? To be able really to achieve this, one of the most important things that we have to have in place is a well-planned campus network. Well-planned campus network. The network infrastructure, power, human capacity are all important. Is anything wrong with my slides, please? Okay. So my time has also started. Sure. So you will also come to know that there are some images that I will project, which have already been projected by Chinedu. The reason is because I was also at the NUC as well as 2012. Actually, I was part of the team that planned for the Nigerian Research and Education Network, NGREN. Was part of the implementation. There was also part of the operation of the NGREN so back in 2012. They move my slides, please. Okay? So actually I have two objectives. One is for my colleagues to understand the minimum consideration for ICT infrastructure required to implement sustainable ICT services in tertiary institutions. Two, understand the funding models of ICT in tertiary institutions. And my outline is next. I have to rush to cover slides. We'll be looking at the introduction from HE, HME, Honorable Minister of Education, the technical services. Then I will be looking at the ICT infrastructure, made of bandwidths, campus-wide network, access devices, power supply. Then we'll be looking at planning for campus. Look at the funding model, and then more on collaboration. And then I'll give you a case study, what we did in my university where we are. This is an introduction. Many of our institutions do not have well-structured ICT environment necessary to develop, deploy, and manage many effectively use technology to improve the quality of teaching and administration in our institutions. Yes, we do have some, but not to the level that is required to effectively and sustainably provide these services. And it is in this same environment that the Honorable Minister of Education is giving us directives through the reference to get there on the 24th March. In order for each institution to access their year 2025 ICT intervention, they must show evidence of onboarding their staff and students to the Blackboard Ultra LMS and relevant ICT platforms. Enforce usage and adoption of all the platforms required by appropriate authorities. This is excellent. Provided the environment in our institutions, which is the problem right now. The environment is not that good. But we also know that people is funding about 11 by debt fund for the benefit of our tertiary institutions. But are we really accessible? That is the question. That's the challenge. That's what we will try to address. Institutions are not ready. Where most of us are not ready. Okay? Because we need robust IT infrastructure for us to be able to support these initiatives. And minimum requirements. I'm not saying this is at all, but these are the minimum that we really need to have in our tertiary institutions to be able to support the directives of the minister. One bandwidth. Two, campus-wide network. Campus-wide network. Three, access devices. And 4 power. Now, when you look at the case of bandwidth, this is one of the greatest headaches that we have in our tertiary institutions. Bandwidth is too expensive, and the funding is grossly inadequate for us to really be able to provide the kind of bandwidth that is required to support the kind of initiatives that we are talking about. And you require bandwidth to access services, to facilitate research and innovation, to enhance administrative efficiencies, to support CBT exams, improve student experience, and attract partnerships. Without bandwidth, you cannot be able to access anything. And bandwidth is expensive, as we will see later. Some institutions do not have any bandwidth on campus. There could be some newer institutions, very new institutions that have just taken up, that probably have just a modem, who they buy data on their mobile phones, and then they will have some kind of access. Some have inadequate capacity. Hardly any institution has enough. Even those that talk about having bigger per second. I know university just have or more. One is probably 2, but even that is not enough. So a high-speed campus-wide bandwidth is no longer a luxury, but a necessity if we are to compete globally, enhance learning and driving. Access to resources, including Blackboard and Terrace, that we are instructed to onboard, are only possible on campus. How I wish to have a representative Minister of Education here so that he can take this message. No director of ICT will be carry on the direction of the Honorable Minister. But it is not possible for us to do our hands are tied. We have to have money. So we just have to have money. Now the next one is campus-wide network, the backbone. This is one of the most important things that you have in private infrastructure for you to have sustenance and stability in your campuses. Okay? Now, if you don't have campus-wide network, you have limited access to services. You want a situation whereby you are lecturers, you are students, wherever they are on campus, 2 a.m. in the night, you should be able to access the internet and other resources, do their research, do their reading, and the rest of them. If there is no campus-wide network, you won't have. Poor communication and collaboration locally and globally is also not possible. So limited research capabilities because lecturers cannot access the services, inability to offer online teaching, digital literacy among students and staff, and limited global visibility among other things are the results of lack of campus-wide connectivity among others. So establishing a campus-wide ICT network can create an environment conducive to learning, research, innovation, okay, and administrative functions and competitiveness. Then we look at access devices. The third infrastructure unit are access devices. Even if you have gigs of bandwidth and you have a well-structured network campus-wide, if there are no access devices where staff and students can access devices to be their mobile phones, it could be their laptop computers in ICT labs. If they are not there, they will not be able to utilize the bandwidth. So access devices are very, very necessary and important. And absence of such devices undermines our ability to prevent technological changes. Absence is a barrier in assisted learning materials, including Blackboard and Keras. Is a barrier also in conducting research, developing digital skills, participating in modern educational practices, and in efficient administrative processes are all as a result of access devices. Therefore, providing adequate computers in our ICT labs, libraries, and sub-offices is crucial to improving our institutions' overall educational experience and operational efficiencies. All these things that I have mentioned are really expensive and they require a lot of money. And that is where the challenge is. We hardly have enough in our tertiary institutions. And one of them, the power. Power. Ensuring uninterrupted power supply is very crucial if we should be able to access the services that we are talking about. Whether they are on the cloud or on the roof, we still have power to make sure that all the devices are running. No power failures during exams can lead to cancellation or malpractice. So power issue is still there, and a reliable power supply is just the backbone of any functional infrastructure. And we know power is expensive. Somebody mentioned that you have secure about power. Data center was 20 million, and I heard from Mr. was asking how many million batteries will that like? Probably one or two. That is it. 20 million is gone. Okay? So now, efficient access to technical services and onboarding of staff, where infrastructure planning and design. Now I'm looking at what we do, how we plan. Infrastructure planning, bandwidth, power, human capacity, and collaboration. If you are planning your company, please try to plan it in the form of core distribution access. Core distribution access. At the minimum, let there be a core and access. You can collapse the distribution. But let there be core and access. And core at your data center or server room is where your internet connection comes in. There you really need enterprise devices, really able to have a very sustainable plan. Then the distribution layer also is there. If you have the capacity, you have the money, yes, you can have the distribution layer, which could be locations in your campuses. But remember, from your data center, any of the locations, you need to have you need fiber. Please try to invest in fiber. Build backbone with fiber optics. Please, if you can, don't build backbone with wireless. Wireless is okay, but it has lots of problems in terms of managing administration. When you have one thunderstorm and it will blow many of the devices. But when you lay fiber, you can have fiber on ground. In the next 20 years, you don't mind about it. In my university, we have fiber since 2009. And as we speak now, we are not bothered about it any longer. It is there. All we do is extend it to new buildings. They come up. On your last mile. Last mile is between the point of presence of your network operator and your data center. Let that fiber be your own, so that you can now have ownership of what is there. And also own your IP numbers. Actually, there is no much time to talk about these things, but they are very important. You can always look at them. Once you own your own IPs,
You can work with any network operator, and you can put up with any network operator. Your last mile is your own. Your IPs are yours. So you can
go wherever you
want. Invest
in high capacity.
for equipment, most especially in the core. In the core, make sure that there are things like Cisco, Huawei, and the rest of them. The standard switches, routers, and the rest, firewalls, and the rest of them. In the distribution or access layers, you can now decide to go with less expensive
devices, but make sure your core
is high
equipment build redundancy in every sense of it, whether it is power,
or access bandwidth stability.
the institution, there's a redundancy, and so on and so forth. Sorry, Mr. Governor. Implement quality of service. Make sure that you have quality of service so that you prioritize those services
That require high capacity bandwidth of more important than the
browsing is
less important
compared to when you do video conferencing over virtual. So have quality of service. Network monitoring. Let there be some network monitoring. There are many.
Network monitoring. Some are free. Enterprise. I mentioned some of the open source and then enterprise and those that are on cloud. Just if there is a monitoring software that will help you
detect problems before they happen. Network security is a big one. Network security is a big one. Cyber security is a
problem now. And cyber security is about all those practices, protecting your systems, networks, and programs, data from digital attacks, unauthorized access, or exploitation.
So there is compelling reason why you should have the cybersecurity tools available in your institution to ensure that data
protected, to comply with rules and regulations from the NICTA, and the network regulators.
and
Here are some components of cybersecurity: network
security, application security, information security, operational disaster recovery.
and end user education.
This
Why cybersecurity is important. Tools for cybersecurity, there are many tools that you can utilize
to ensure that you are
secure your network.
component of network security. The bandwidth. Remember, bandwidth come in
Versions, both shared and dedicated. Shared bandwidth means you and other organizations are using the same pipeline, and whoever is there first carries most of the bandwidth.
while dedicated bandwidth means the pipe is yours and yours alone. No? So it's always better.
For us, to go with dedicated bandwidth, people can afford it. But
Estimate capacity repair. This is very important.
this is the situation why we always say bandwidth is very expensive.
Estimate the number of your users.
That is students on campus, off campus, lecturers, and staff. Then identify usage patterns. Are you doing e-learning? Are you doing personal meetings? Is it only administrative services that you do? And so on and so forth. Then you can come up with the matrix, as a matrix. We are doing web browsing. That's been about between 100 to 500 visitors. Video streaming.
Mbps. Conferencing.
1.5 to 3. Large file download, 5 to 10. But history.
Now look
Look at a formula, simple formula for computing the bundles that you require. Total bundle is equal number of concurrent users. We say concurrent users, not every user in the campus.
concurrent users, those
That will go simultaneously at the same time.
are times average.
Usage per user. You assume 1,000 concurrent users. That does not mean the institution has only 1,000 school staff users. Let's say you have 10,000 users or 20,000 users. But 1,000 users access the internet simultaneously.
And you assume average
Capacity per user. First example, you are doing browsing only 300 kilobits per second.
so total bandwidth required is 300 Mbps. That's about 1 USD a month. Now, what of the second?
Assume 1,000 concurrent users. Assume average capacity per user of 1.5. Now you are looking at where you do some video streaming, video conferencing, real-time lectures from the rest of them.
Now it's still
1,000 users times 1.5 Mbps per second. That's about 1.5 gigabits per second. But how much is the money?
now. Now,
When we just example now, just SCM1, we did about 1 million, 1.5 million per month by SCM1. Right? Chairman,
SCM1,
those were how much? Per month.
155 Mbps per second, goes to about 1 to 1.5 million.
That's for 1 gigabit.
For 1 gigabit, 60 million. How many institutions can afford 60 million per gigabit? And even that gigabit is not
Enough for him. SCM1 is not enough for him. So that is how expensive bandwidth is.
so that is why many
Institutions cannot afford to even have adequate bandwidth that will allow seamless operations to happen in our institutions.
now power.
About power, maybe I just go past
The power. I spoke about power.
I sit down with all invest in solar inverter, batteries, lithium batteries, data, backup operate generators.
PHCN, never can PHCN. All the time. Power is very, very
important. Human capacity. This is a big one. This is one that is mostly being misunderstood by our funding agencies.
right now. Just one
Is not doing any capacity building in terms of ICT.
technical stuff, real.
Training of technical staff in our tertiary institutions.
When we talk about that,
About engineers,
modern high capacity
fiber optic, security, and
network management. Even those organizations
that do train.
like NCC through Digital Reach Institute are always doing productivity tools. Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. People train
That training provides this kind of service. Over training for users. I'm sorry, sir. Collaboration.
There's very little you can even within your IT. Collaboration with other departments.
Collaboration with other institutions within your town is collaboration. Collaboration with other states, with institutions, universities, education.
Collaboration. Regional collaboration.
National collaboration and international collaboration. This is very, very necessary, very important. Almost every speaker has mentioned the issue and the need
For collaboration. So we must take it seriously. Then I talk about funding. Government and statutory public-private partnership,
collaboration with private sector,
sourcing and skills program, institutional and community funding, and development. Then a case study of research and education network. This is what R&D is. What we have is a cycle there at our institute.
out there are other research and education networks. Some are regional, some are global. They are all connected to us. Notice the green area here, called commodity internet.
Commodity internet
Commercial internet.
is a typical research and
Education network. No national or international research and education network will allow you to connect to them if you are using commercial.
so your commercial internet must
Separate if you really want to communicate.
be others. So I talk about that. The diagram engineering, yes, we knew it 2012, 2013. I don't know what it is now. MPLS design and development, and this runs around 27.
But what we're talking about NEL is for all tertiary institutions, not for universities, not for polytechnics, not for colleges of education.
Therefore, if we
want to activate NGL, it is all of us here, the directors of IT, that must come together and see that NGL comes back. If it doesn't come back, let us not blame anybody. And we are holding Committee MPI responsible for making sure that NGL comes back. The chairman is there, I'm sure he's committed. Secretary General
also here literally,
I'm sure they are all committed. I'm sure all the directors of IT here are equally committed. Because we get things cheaper, we collaborate, we share resources, we do so much when we are in the research and education network.
remember in 2013, when we came to NIDA, we had an issue wanting NIDA to come in, and we proposed that we do a needs assessment of all our tertiary institutions.
Where we are at that time, which we did.
We designed questionnaires, we sent them, we gathered the data, we developed reports, and we sent to NIDA. That report is still with NIDA. Sir, our report is still there. But it's probably something. These are North Africa, West Africa. Notice, even Nigeria is there.
Even the Nigerian NGN is now limited to some institutions.
For whatever reason, there are
Issues that we really need to sit together, really be able to address them. If we really need
to go beyond that.
Central Africa, East Africa, South Africa, and the regional
networks are all there.
Then these are some of the things that we did in a small company university to be able to reach a level where we are able to sustain our network to some extent. Not that we have everything that we need. In fact, in terms of funding, we just have 3 STM1, which is grossly inadequate. A simple user can take of all of that before you know it, most especially if you don't have a good security in place.
So,
this is grossly inadequate.
But at least some of the things
that we are there. The policy, we did.
The strategic plan, we lay fiber, and so on and so on. Thank you.
Very, very good. Please, another round of applause for again, we agree with me that to some extent we are scratching the surface, but there will be opportunities for deeper interactions. We stopped him at the slide when he was sharing about his university experience. Please note that if you look at the program, our program tonight ends at 8 p.m. Am I correct? So there's going to be a cocktail. But unlike traditional cocktail, our cocktail, the capacity development of all our programs, from their institutions. So we'll be receiving requests from people. Chafe is going to speak also at that by Tena, myself supporting him between 6 and 8. This is what to encourage you to be there. So we've taken 4 speakers, and this is the time for question and answers. We take 10 questions, and I'm getting number 1. Thank you, sir. You're number 1. Number 2, there is stimulation. Oh, great. You're making my work easier. Only 2. I'm going to start calling people. We don't raise your hand. 3, 10, yes, 4. I've just been informed that the song of the company's listed. So we have where did I stop? 4. So 5. Which one is that? Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the last one goes to Lady DICT. 2 slots for. Okay, number 10. Thank you very much. So 1 minute. Who is number 1? Okay. Please, I need usher help. Okay. Number 1.
Thank you so much. Shoaib Muhammad Umar, Director. A lot of thanks to the speakers, quite an insightful and important discussions there. I have one observation regarding the issue of strategic plan. I always believe, we all know that ICT is just a facilitator, it facilitates. In my own opinion, and or opinion of the number of applications that I read, we don't develop our own plans. Rather, we develop it around what plan. So when developing our own plan, we should really analyze the plan of the institutions we represent, because we facilitate. If you go developing your own, you find that sync with what the institution will achieve. So that is my observation. So always encourage the institution to develop strategic plan, and then you now develop your own around that by providing services or those things.
Very much. I think that's for Rosalino to note. Number 2. Yes, sir. Yes. Sorry, hold on, sir. Sorry, just pass it around. Please pass it down. Pass it down. We get to him.
My name is Colum Shaw, PICT University of Commission for State. My question is the NG, how do we come on board? 2, the cost implication. How does NITDA, Third Fund, NUC support the funding of broadband internet in our respective institutions?
Thank you very much. 2 questions in one. Thank you. Number 3. Oh, no, pass to your left side.
Left?
Just give to somebody to pass. Somebody.
Thank you very much. My name is Jane Abu from ICT University. I have a question for HFA. So just to know if you have any.
Sorry, sir. Can you come forward a bit to avoid that speaker? That's what's possible.
The mine is just to find out if you have any Cisco center
You have the place is asking that for institutions that have done. Cisco.
I'm going to Federal Polytechnic in ICT. My question really is around the ICT interventions, particularly when we talk about Blackboard. As at now, I can't really understand where we are. So many times we've had meetings, and the last one we had were the Minister of Education and the directors and so on and so forth. And the institution, they are expecting us to do something. Well, up till now, on the platform, I don't know the situation at all, because the last discussion I had with them sometimes last year, I told them that was there no way we can deploy an API so that they can be fetching the data directly from our portal instead of them to ask us to be bringing information one after the other, which is a serious matter. So I want to know what is the situation in other, maybe other institutions and so on and so forth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please help me to get the chairman. Thank you very much. Number 5.
Good afternoon. My name is Mohammed Alija Jerry from African Aviation and Aerospace University, actually a new university for that matter. And that's why I'm asking this question. Based on experience, from all that I have had since morning, what do we think is the best way forward for internet, LMS, and other such ICT infrastructure? You get my question?
No, I was distracted briefly. Can you just repeat that? Sorry.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. We're a new university.
Yes, I got that.
Struggling to stand on our own. Now, based on internet, IT infrastructure, what is the best way forward?
Like a roadmap.
Yes.
Can you recommend a roadmap for us?
Yes. And make the best services that we can.
That's for traffic. Number 6. In front of you. I like that.
Thank you very much. I am Muhammad Ali Umar from FlexiSAF. My question is to Lydia. Regarding this request for clearance, do we have minimum threshold? How low or how high does need to be before we get the clearance? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Perhaps related to just directors showed that maybe the help desk contact numbers on that also. Thank you, sir. Number 7.
Okay. I am Paul Odibolo, Nigeria Maritime University, Verangoko. Yes. My question is to NITDA in particular. We talked about capacity building. And Nigeria population is our strength. I feel we are not utilizing it. In countries like China, they told Google, you have to train this number of persons in specific areas every year. Same in all aspects of technology. That's what are the regulatory bodies doing specifically to train manpower in our ICT sector, in our tertiary institutions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, did you make that? Let me extend. You can sit down. Let me extend that question. So, I think NIDA strategically has an opportunity to coordinate some of these OEMs and require that in our tertiary education institutions in terms of capacity building. So, I mean, identify the Google, the Cisco's, etc., and require the annual capacity development exercises by institutions. That's a very good question, number 7. Number 8, sir.
My name is Professor Nam from Abia State University. I don't actually know where to refer my question, but I have a peculiar challenge where I inherited an IT architecture that is deformed. And if you watch we have everything from our bandwidth to the data center at source to a third party. And data backup, we have to go to the IT support or their source partner to get some data from the back end. Please, I want to know, because I know it's causing a clog in the process of our. I want to know what I can do to rescue that.
To liberate yourself.
Yeah, that's structure. Away from the outsourced partner. Because I'm the low ranger there. I see the university belongs But I know that we cannot go beyond where we are today if we continue to be at the mercy of a technical partner. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are number one, sir. Getting very interesting, and I'm already putting down some kind of like white paper that has come from this our meeting. Paper will roadmap for maybe beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And this will starting with bad stabilization skills. And can use the estimate capacity. Then of course, the last feature, things like institution-vendor relationship, the guidelines in that regard. So thank you very much for taking over all your
Very good afternoon.
Number one, sir.
Number 9.
Number 9. Please, 1 hour.
I'm Hassan Ibrahim from DICT Polytechnic Petroga. Yes, having started with what the organizers or the secretary must have mentioned, that these are our speakers that spoke today with us. They have delivered very good presentations. However, due to time constraints, we have a lot of things that we need more insight. Therefore, please maintain or ensure that you look at the possibilities of engaging them with us virtually so that we have ample time, even if it is on monthly or quarterly basis. So, in line with that, the media representative made mention of some guidelines that encompasses clearance of. So what I would like to know is who is responsible for obtaining that clearance? Is it the contractor or the institution? Because we have a situation whereby a contract will be awarded, you don't even know who the contractor is. You will just be collecting the contracts at the end of the day without your knowledge. The second one is our bodies as well. One of the presenters made mention of the difference between ICT policies and strategic policies or ICT strategies. I would like to advise that these two things should be looked into whenever any ICT project is to be mounted on our institution. This will help and give a long way in having more insights and requirements gathering from the users or active users of these platforms. Third one. That's the third question in one. Yes, sir. And that will be the last one. Yes, the last one is one of the speakers, I believe, my senior colleague DICT, Usman Danfodio University, made mention that none of the DICT trying to contradict or resist from the directive of the Honorable Minister. I would like this our conference come up with the actual picture of the platforms for the ICT platforms and services rendered by because there are a lot of issues and the implementation process as well. One of my colleagues made mention of the blackboard. We've been making so many requests and complaints. Most of us cannot even access the URL of our institution up to now. Some more of the issue of engaging or going into the implementation of the LMS. And in line with this, the institutions we are operating on different bases. We have baby institutions and we have amateur and mature institutions. All these things should be looked into in the process of implementation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I know there's number 10 there, but before that, I just wanted to say, we're talking about capacity building. There was a time in our institutions we had something called NT law. And yeah, so Costa Rica will also talk about that and how we can also investment in tertiary is also a good opportunity to revisit that also. Number 10.
Down says 8-time associate professor, DICT, University of Calabar. How is more like concern or still a question? I don't know what I'm directing to. What's the role of this committee and maybe other regulatory bodies on the roles of DICTs in various universities? Because as a new DICT, I have to ask questions from different people, and it looks like different universities just do their things. Is it based on the ICT policy of the university, or is there no way to regulate or standardize?
Thank you very much. That talks about ICT structure. Number 11. Please ask the last one. Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. IT project clearance. Okay, Linda. How many projects that did not get clearance? I've been told to ask. Say that off camera. Don't say that you need to see the media people for regularization. Yes, we can. Staff, they keep pushing this issue of this project. Yeah, very good. My question. Post-implementation clearance. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have very, very good questions. And again, we'll take the answers in the order that our presenters spoke. So we'll have Mr. Lido, Dr. Kajiru, finally, traffic. So please just come up. Don't worry, come up. You have three minutes to respond to all.
It went down. It went down.
Planning and policy. Like we said earlier, when you talk about policy, policy is high level. Five-year planning has to do with step by step on how to achieve. But whichever way you look at them, everything you do must align with the vision of that organization. You cannot develop a plan that does not. The plan you are developing, how to carry out, and even the way you want to do it must align the vision with the process itself. You cannot say you want to buy something because you are ICT of that institution. So everything you want to do must definitely align with what the institution is about. I think basically that's about. Somebody was talking about things that you buy.
It's not.
This is how end of life and end of life. Most likely, the things you are talking about service them, even if Cisco is in your institution, because they are already end of life. These are some of the things that when you buy something, what you are buying as end of life, as end of service, we buy until the gas and the die. And that does not work anywhere. So it's good to have this whole year, how service centers around, but there are some things we take with them, we tell you this one. You cannot even find them anywhere. We have some that are already taken. I hope I. Is a domestication of African African wide. To domesticate Afro, and what we do initially is that we move from one university to another. We train technical, ICT technical people. Now, over the years we have evolved, we still do training. We have a training coming up in July in Abuja here. We still do training. So, if anyone wants to get involved in anything that has to do with anything, we train ICT personnel tertiary institutions, even private companies. That's basically what we do. Just say the real people at Lord of NG, and somebody is going to attend to you. We have done a bit, I'm sure we have trained well a chairman, one of the instructors, but they are so we have involved over the years. If anyone needs any training, technical training, basically, most of the instructors are our colleagues from institutions within Nigeria. Most of the people are doing this. So we move from one institution, we used to move from one institution to another, and any institution we go that host us, we do one we do what we call network clinic. So what network clinic we audit that network infrastructure for free, and we give them a report on what to do. Also, NGO developed a framework for ICT policy that was done in 2008, and all you need to do is pick the framework and domesticate it to what fits your particular institution. So all those things are there. You can ask any of them. We will find a way of getting across to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a round of applause for that. So please, speaking of those things, remember, thank you. Yes, contact address info@nog.org for information about info@nog.org. Just that side, you get for you. But like you said, myself and the chairman needs that.
Yeah, representative of. He left that out. So yes. I think NGO and how does India? I think Saruna. Yeah, about some of that supported in terms of wide area networks, establishment in some universities, and ICT hubs, digital centers, digital economy learning centers, and so on. Like Professor mentioned, that there was a needs assessment which I learned was in 2013 before I even joined it. So we're looking forward to an updated needs assessment that the agency can look at and then possibly re-strategize on the interventions that it does in universities. So it's good to have a more exploratory sessions where you really drill down and find out challenges, across, like it's going to go tomorrow anyway, but that the report is also going to be submitted to intervention agencies like NINDA, NCC, USPM, and so on. Yes, of course, like you mentioned, strategy must align with organizational vision, otherwise it is not going to work. Someone asked what is the minimum threshold as it is, and I gave an example with Bureau for Public Service Reforms, right? I said they had a 300,000 ICT project and they submitted for review and advice and got their clearance. There was FIRS with zero. The amended guidelines, if you check it out, there is a new threshold suggested in the amended guidelines. And if that is what passes eventually, that is going to be the new threshold. And we are looking at approval limits of heads of agencies, right? Things that don't normally have to go to the Bureau for Procurement. Yes, capacity building, there was a question around that. What they say the translated, but if it's too many Nigerians to train. So no matter how many interventions, it's difficult to have a critical mass of, and that is why we are targeting 95% digital literacy by 2030. That is one of the strategies in pillars in the strategic roadmap and action plan. We are also all aware of the Ministry of Education Economist 3MTT, doing 3 million technical challenge, which is still ongoing, and a significant improvement has been made. But as to the suggestion you made around Google, I started actually just last week, right? Google was in Abuja with a team of their experts and with our DG, and they went to the Ministry of Education, they went to the Office for National Security Advisor, and so on cyber security. So on education, we talked about a collaboration that would support the training, building capabilities around emerging technologies, around building the youth, for the future work environment. And to tell you, there is a partnership already going on, being explored. The president met with the few months ago, which led to exploring this partnership with Google. So something is going on around that, and we hope it's going to be fruitful. There are other areas. If you look at our website or our Twitter, social media handles, you'll see the details of the meeting, including that with the Ministry of Education. Right, yeah, we're open to virtual engagements in the future to talk to ourselves on how to move forward the digital ecosystem. Review of ICT policies of institutions for deployment, yes. What is the role of this solution? Awaiting clearance. Yes, so you have projects that and you don't have this thing. And like I said, you see, I was mentioning the Office of the Auditor General, and yes. So what we do in that case is for you to, we already have something in place. Still submit the project. We'll review it, and if everything is okay, give you a waiver. Right? And there are those that have submitted, and they got the clearance, but they have implement due to lack of funds or something, the money didn't come, right? So if nothing changes, you can continue to, you can still use that clearance. But if anything changes, you resubmit to India for revalidation. So we've made things easy for you to apply. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That's one of the major takeaways from this conference. We have two more. Before they come up, please, lunch will be served immediately after this session. And please, we want to request that we take our lunch quickly. We've made provisions to make sure everybody finishes lunch in 20 minutes. Yeah? Worry, when you get there, be an additional 10 minutes to refresh yourself. In exactly 30 minutes after we stop this session, we will start the discussions, panel discussion, which will have NUC, NCC, MBT, TETFON, will engage them. So very quickly, NGREN, all your questions in 1 minute, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad for the question that was asked. I believe that will also speak the minds of other universities, polytechnics, college of education. But the director, DICT Unilesha, thank you for the question. Coincidentally, I was in Unilesha last year for an AUC assignment. We were doing resource verification for the program Criminology and Security Studies. And the VC got interested, so an opportunity to engage him in time to sell my market. So I told him, I discussed with him, join, and informed him that even the nearby University of Medical Science, has subscribed even for 1 STM. So they too can also join whether 1 STM or even up to 1 gig. Director DICT unit just mentioned the amount paid for 1 gig. Subscription with NGREN is about that same amount. Competitive. No competitive. What NGREN does is that when you indicate interest to subscribe, we come to your institution and do a technical survey at no cost to you. We take cognizance of what you have, give you a report and also an invoice. So when you indicate interest, we can meet after this meeting. I'll give you contact details, indicate interest, we'll respond back to you, and that can be done. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was fast and nice. Yes, traffic, please come up. What that is going on? Yes, you can. Please just give me. Please, the following persons: DICT Duru Jaye, DICT Daworiye, DICT Dahiru Abubakar. That's supposed to be 4 people. There are Abubakar, Stephen Daworiye, Duru Jaye, and Nkwafike Megi. Each of my lady. You are here, please step out briefly and seize somebody at the information desk. Very important. Quickly. Yes.
Thank you very much. Let me start with Mr. Kana. You were asking whether there is any Cisco center where women could be serviced. And I think Professor Adwan, yes, he responded to that. But you see, that was one of the things we wanted to address at the engineering level. Because if there is bulk purchase, same kind of equipment, now we have delivery. We had wanted if all these things were to come together, and you see we are going with Cisco equipment, they will tell you that at a certain period of time, you have to buy this equipment, then we pump money and get newer ones. Same thing with computers, HP, and the rest of it. Unfortunately, that has not been well yet. But it's still not too late for us really to organize ourselves and do bulk purchase. Same thing goes to bandwidth. Because if we can buy bulk purchase, we can crash because of bandwidth, and it will be the win-win to each one of us. Somebody asked what is the best way forward for your institution? Well, yeah, a roadmap kind of. Well, Africa must consider planning in the first place. Planning. You don't plan. Yes. There's hardly any institution that does not have a vision and a mission statement. You must make sure that you have a strategic ICT strategic plan and ICT policy that align with this vision statement. I already mentioned it. I also mentioned it. That is the number one thing. But beyond that, you must need to conduct a needs assessment to determine what are the minimum things you require to put in place in our campus. And that was why I presented a minimum requirements, campus minimum requirements that you need to have the infrastructure in place. That is in fact, one of the most expensive things that you can now talk about. And by the time you connect all your buildings with fiber, and within buildings you have structured cabling, and then you have wireless that extends the structured cabling, then you have gone a long way. Next is to get your budget and start bringing the services. So if you look at all these things and you plan them accordingly, then and you prioritize them, I'm sure any new campus can go further. There is much to be said about it, but there is no time. But probably later on, the economy will organize ways to really explore this more. Now, somebody said they have an existing structure that has been outsourced. Getting problems. Well, I'm sure it is not outsourcing that is the problem. It is good to even outsource if you don't have the capacity to maintain it. Outsource. But the problem is, have you really done your requirement analysis properly? Do you determine what are your requirements? Because that is the beginning of it all. These are our requirements. Who can meet the requirements? You can even do public procurement processes, and you send it to media for compliance and things like that. So once you do that, then you can sign service level agreements with any of the vendors that have been selected. If they default, you can only sanction them. So doing the remote requirement analysis is the key to that. And somebody asked about services rendered by Techon. I think I listed about 11 of them in my presentation, and the presentation will be circulated, so you will still have access to it. And somebody talked about the roles of interviews on big NTI. Well, now that we have a functional big NTI and a very active one, I think we should be able to hold them responsible for a lot of things that we have not spoken here. The only NGO we are talking about, I hear that giving a URL where you can now go. Why can't Comdic now organize and reach out to NGO organizers and organize this kind of trainings for us? And see how institutions can now benefit from that. I'm sure if we do it that way, it may even cost us much less than if we all go individually. And people are asking, how do you join it? But I think probably that needs to change now. It's not what is existing now. Because if our goal was what is existing now, then we are not benefiting anything from engineering. Engineering is there, and we are here the committee of directors of ICT. Engineering is ours. It's not for NUC. It's not for MBTE. It's not for NCCE. It's for the directors of ICT. And we have a committee of directors of tertiary. Sir, please. Let's see what will come out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So just to give to the person regarding someone is holding their data. So if there is no any contractual issues, say they're owing, you've not paid them their money, or there's no any issue around that, you could submit to NIDA, and the e-government department usually looks into that. I think we had some similar problem with, I think it's Bauchi State government, where someone was holding their data. We were able to resolve that. So beyond advisory services, also we intervene in areas like this. So you can write to the DGC or NIDA requesting that this particular issue be looked into. And then I think I forgot something about who is responsible, whether it's not the contractor. is the director of ICT, right? That is responsible to submit, right? But I think we have data entrance, we have supervisor, we have a portal. So you need to submit. We don't, and I mentioned it, we don't care who does your contract. It's a pre-procurement process. For us to evaluate clearance, then you go. In most cases now, BPD will ask you where is the NIDA clearance as well. You know, sometimes they have oversights also, and they just approve the projects. But I think the current DG has invited us to along with an organization that has gone for no objection. Right? And we are both there to, you know, and he then asked them to submit their projects for clearance before he issues them the no objection. Yes, but again, I mentioned state universities at the moment, you can request for advisory services, but it's not up to you to get a clearance from NIDA for that purpose, because the Office of the Auditor General doesn't audit states. It's your own state Auditor General, right? I hope that is clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Please once again remember it's a pre-procurement activity, and now you have the opportunity of going back at some we might have overlooked that also. And we're going to take one last comment from the chairman. Then please remember what we said. We are not able to look at everything in detail within this short period. We're bringing in every single one of our speakers for a special session. Please, in advance, we seek your support in that area so that we can really extend this discussion further. Chairperson, you have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you very much, and I'm happy with I would like to assure that by the end of this conference, quite a number of our questions and thoughts will be answered. We are going to have an ordinary general meeting. Some of those issues will be dealt with, especially with the question that Calabar asked, because it's very important. One of the things we think we must address here is the stability of the ICT directors within the institutions, tenureship, and type of people that are appointed to lead that institution. Because it is now becoming a very important, or it is an important unit of the institution. And we must, just like our brother said, when you become an institution and then everything that you are supposed to do is not there, you must be deliberate about it. So we will answer this question, and at the end of the day, we will have documents and our institutions to present some of this CVC to tell them, and the committee of directors and committee of provosts, tell them that I think this is the best way if we really want our institutions to develop. But as you can see with what we did with NIDA, it is very important. And as you rightly say, most of federal institutions are getting serious now. I also happened to see for almost an hour being grilled at the office of the Auditor General. It was then I knew that I also was not doing the right thing. So I had to get myself on the platform. I think the first thing is everybody in the federal institution, polytechnic, colleges of education, and universities should ensure that they send a requirement. There's a list of people that they want so that they can enroll you on the portal. And you will do, somebody will do the submission, somebody will do the check-in, and somebody will approve, and later will work on it, and you get your clearance certificate. I'm hoping that we'll do that. And very importantly, we must do that for all our second projects. I'm talking about federal institutions. You must do that, or else they are actually coming very serious about it. So I just said, let me make comments like that, but quite a number of the things you mentioned, we will answer them. We will take responsibility, just like we were talking about injury. We were there. He Shafe, and who's the fourth person? No, it's not China. There was somebody before China. The minister of before us were the technical designers, and we became part of the technical development. So we want to go back and take ownership. We want to take ownership. Sorry, he doesn't want to hear that, but it must happen. It must happen. No, I'm not saying. We know what we are saying. Because we are now bringing a bigger picture. So we'll go back to the original design. Hopefully, since all of us are designing our life, I think we should go back to the original design. And the reason is becoming very critical. Even the 60 million I told you, we are beginning not to be able to pay for it. That's the truth. We are struggling to pay 60 million. It was 40 million, but just now that the data was raised with another 50%, that makes it 60 million. So you can see that all of us are going to suffer the same. And I know some institutions have started even opting for Starlink. Starlink is an open network. You are going to suffer a lot of cyber attacks if you convert to Starlink as your access to the internet. Starlink is just for your own and maybe small businesses. But when you want to put it at the institutional level, I will assure you that you will start crying. So let us not see Starlink as our primary connection, please. Let us not opt for Starlink because of our problem. We will solve it. So thank you very much. Our meetings will address that. Okay, and the issue of blackboard. We are going to have a session with TEDFON. They are going to explain, we will interrogate them, and we will agree. But let me tell you that we are also working on strategies behind the scenes, whether that is the actual decision that government should have taken. And if that is not, then it should be reviewed. And as you could see in the platform of the NGRL, we already have a running LMS. And the purpose was that anybody, because NGRL will not charge you for the hosting, because you don't have facility to host for you, but they won't charge you for the LMS because it's free. So these are the kind of models we have from the one. And we're hoping we can go back to them. Well, if we will put blackboard on it, we can go, but currently I don't think anybody can access the URL. There's no access to any URL on blackboard. And if the access will ever come back, the access must come back with the name of the institution. Very clearly. You have to make them capture clearly. And you will have a complete instance that clearly doesn't, because you know the future one, you see somebody will change the same. So that was, we were practicing. When the time comes, we'll do the proper thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. DICT, NCI. Yes, a lot of our courses in order. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our plenary sessions 1 and 2. And we're going for lunch break at 2:30. 2:30. So we expect us back by 3 o'clock. I want to promise you that the next session is going to be very engaging. NUC man is going to be there. The FCC is there. Okay. Receipts, institutional receipts are also ready. You can pick it up at the information desk. Quickly get your lunch and be back here by 3 o'clock so that you can be among the early birds, for the next session. So we start by 3:10. We start by 3:10 in about 40 minutes time. Thank you very much. Again, we welcome PIC that came during the session. We want to thank all presenters. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time. Waited throughout the day with us. We do not take it for granted. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.